Nighthawks, The Synthetic Wars. Book 1, written by Jeremy Flagg, narrated by Robin J. Sitten. Chapter 1. February 13th, 1992, 11:32 a.m. She sat at her desk, silent, running her hands along the smooth surface. In such a large room, filled with historic monuments to one of the greatest nations, it was the desk that always captivated her. Her fingers rested on a spot where the varnish had worn thin, and she could feel the memories etched beneath her fingertips. Decades earlier, a man had sat at this desk and helped fortify the nation. His hands had rested in that exact spot, beginning the weathering of the mammoth structure. Years later, a less virtuous man would place his mistress on the desk and ravish her in an attempt to exact revenge on a bitter bride. She let out a sigh as the memories wove themselves into her thoughts. An image flashed across her mind, a mistress being taken by her lover. With a startled gesture, she pulled her hand away from the spot and pondered the realness of the images. They were always the same, and if she left her hand there long enough, she would eventually begin to feel her brow sweat as she made stately decisions, or her body tensed up in the throes of passion. She reached for a crisp white glove on her desk and slid it over her delicate aged hands, pulling them tight on her thin fingers. She rested her hand on the spot again, and this time the memories were distant, as though, if she focused, she might be able to remember. The gloves, while perfectly sculpted to her hands, were the thin layer of fabric between her right mind and losing herself to a distant past. "Excuse me," came a young man's voice. The woman turned in her chair and could see an intern standing at the door. "Please, do come in," she said in a wispy voice. "You asked to see me, Miss Valentine?" She could tell he was nervous in her presence. Despite her warm invitation, he waited at the door. He looked at her, but averted his eyes to one of the various larger-than-life paintings that lined the walls. She had grown accustomed to the averted gaze of the young people in the office. She waited patiently for him to test his bravery and enter. She rested her hands in her lap, one on the other, in the most delicate manner she could muster. In the years that she had worked there, she had learned to make herself the least threatening individual in the room. He could see that she wasn't going to continue until he moved closer. He lowered his head, focusing on his feet, and took several steps in her direction, but left at least 10 paces between them. "Don't be afraid, son," she said with a slight smile. "I won't bite." He tried to speak, but his voice was caught in his throat. He adjusted his pristine tie, loosening it slightly, and tried again. "I apologize, Miss Valentine," he said quietly. "It's just that—"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?